with political analyst and visiting fellow at Kyoto University, Julio Teehankee. He joins us from Kyoto, Japan.
Good evening. Good evening, Rico.
Julio, let me start off with you. Why do you think that President Duterte had to add an attack on the Lopezes and ABS-CBN and take a swipe on Senator Franklin Dron? Was it necessary for him to include it in a State of the Nation address? In terms of criticizing the Lopez family, the PLDT Smart Group, and Globe?
Yes, Rico, yes. We have to understand that President Duterte was elected as a populist, no? And he's a populist, he's actually your prototypical populist whose basic narrative when he was elected and when he campaigned in 2016 was an us against the so-called corrupt elite narrative. And drawing on the frustration and the anger of majority of the Filipino people who were disappointed by the inability of the so-called post-EDSA elites and the presidents of the so-called EDSA regime to deepen democracy and development in the country. So he managed to draw on that political sentiment, and that's the reason why he needs to continue with that narrative up until the tail end of his administration.
And do you think he still has the support of the people with this populist strategy that he has undertaken since his presidency began in 2016?
Yes, his presidency compared to the other post-Marcos presidents have acquired some Teflon veneer, and unlike the other post-Marcos presidents whose popularity began to diminish after the midterm, President Duterte was able to garner a mandate when he was elected in 2016, and when during the midterm elections, all of his candidates practically won in the national local. So after the midterms, he has a clear mandate despite all the controversial policies in the past 4 years. But of course, the outbreak of the pandemic crisis has put a question on the coherence of his administration, given the chaotic approach that the Filipino people saw in the past 5 months.
Julio, I want to shift now to one issue wherein the president said that he was inutil, and this is basically trying to resolve the Philippines' claims with the West Philippine Sea or the South China Sea against China. You have the likes of Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, which are asserting their sovereign rights to their maritime zones against China's claims. Why is the president giving up here?
Well, that's actually disheartening because, as we all know, the president is supposed to be our chief foreign policy maker. And at the same time, he is our chief cheerleader out there in the international arena. And it's as if he just surrendered and he said that hindi natin kaya, na inutil siya. No? And that is indeed sad because we can see from the other countries who have asserted their rights, despite the fact that they don't even have the same military capacity as China. And yet, out of their national pride, out of their defense of their sovereignty, they have asserted their right. And even if we don't have the military capacity, we have the rule of law behind us because we have won our arbitration case. And this, even if China doesn't recognize it, at least under the international norm of those who follow the international rule of law, it is a potential and potent weapon in order to assert our claim in the West Philippine Sea.
So why is it the Philippines taking the same stand as Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia in asserting our sovereign rights to this maritime zone?
Well, yeah, that is a big puzzle, especially for a president who was projected a strongman image. And if he could have given the same bluster that he demonstrated this afternoon, especially towards Senator Drilon, towards the Chinese, in regards to the West Philippine Sea, then I am sure we will be better off.
And what about a vaccine? Why are we just totally relying on China? I mean, there are vaccines that are being developed in the United States, in Europe. Why does it really have to come from China?
I don't know. Indeed, it's a big mystery to all of us. And this is not the first time he has mentioned it. He has mentioned it several times. But we are all aware that there are ongoing several laboratory tests trying to come up with the vaccine in Japan, for example, in Europe, and even the United States. So there are other sources of the much coveted vaccine, and we don't need to tie our foreign policy or even our national security with the discovery of the vaccine, because we can source it out with other allies around the world.
All right, we will continue our discussion with Julio Teehankee live from Kyoto, Japan. Listening to the 1 hour and 41-minute speech, Julio, of President Duterte, did you agree with him on any points?
Well, I was more hopeful. I was hoping that since this is second to the last State of the Nation address, that he would be more of a healing or a unifying president. Especially, that is the kind of leadership that we need amidst this pandemic. No, people are already scared. They're afraid. And they're not even sure if they will survive this entire coronavirus pandemic. And they no longer need any stress, fear, or any bullying. So the message of the president was good. Had he, we have seen that he has stuck to the script. No, for the first time in 4 years, he was disciplined in delivering the speech. But he could have minimized all those. Sometimes it sounded like it was all of his petty grudges against his political opponent. So instead of an inspiring leadership, instead of a unifying leadership, we still get more of the same. So it's, I think, it was too much to expect that he would change his rhetorical style.
And Julio Teehankee, a political analyst, currently a visiting fellow at Kyoto University, joining us from Japan. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word this Monday, July 27th. Thank you for watching this CNN Philippines special presentation on President Rodrigo Duterte's 5th State of the Nation address. Join us again tomorrow for news you can use, news you can trust. I'm Rico Hizon. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.